For almost 200 years, a series of epic religious wars totally reshaped the world, pitting massive kingdoms and entire faiths against one another. We're talking about the Crusades, of course, a period of unbelievable conflict that left a deep, permanent mark on history. But what could possibly set off a fire that big? Well, let's start with the very first spark. Wow. I mean, this quote from a chronicler who was there, Fulcher of Chartres, it just cuts right to the bone, doesn't it? This wasn't some polite political suggestion. This was framed as a direct command from God, a call to action that was meant to be heard by everyone, from the king in his castle all the way down to a farmer in his field. So, how does a conflict that lasts for centuries even get started? Well, it all kicked off with a single, desperate plea for help. Okay, so let's set the scene. By the middle of the 11th century, things were getting tense. The Seljuk Turks were on the rise, and they started messing with these really important Christian pilgrimage routes. This created both a spiritual crisis and, a political one. So when the Byzantine emperor in the east asks the west for military help, Pope Urban II sees a huge opportunity. And his sermon at Clermont? Well, that wasn't just a response. It was the moment the whole world changed. But here's the thing you have to understand. A crusade wasn't just another medieval war. Not even close. The clue is right there in the name. It comes from crux, the Latin word for cross. It was officially an armed pilgrimage. The Pope himself gave it the green light. And here's the kicker. It came with the ultimate spiritual reward, the complete forgiveness of your sins. Basically a guaranteed ticket to heaven. And that really gets us to the core question. It's one thing to know the official definition, but it's another thing entirely to get inside people's heads. Why did so many thousands of people risk literally everything to go? Seriously, the scale of this is just mind-boggling. We're talking about hundreds of thousands of people trekking across the entire known world. There was no guarantee you'd even survive the journey, let alone the fighting. So the reasons for going had to be incredibly powerful. And as we're about to see, they were also deeply personal. So the crucial thing to remember is that it was never just about one thing. This shows that duality perfectly. On one side, you've got these huge spiritual drivers, the promise of a plenary indulgence, which meant every sin you'd ever committed was wiped clean. But on the other side, well, you had some very real worldly reasons. If you were a knight with no land to inherit or a farmer buried in debt, this was a chance to completely restart your life. And this quote just nails it. It perfectly captures that unique appeal. See, in the medieval world, serving God and getting rich weren't seen as opposites. You could absolutely do both at the same time. It was a win-win. So that initial motivation was incredibly powerful, for sure. But the Crusades weren't just one single event. Over 2 centuries, the whole idea of what a crusade even was would change. A lot. Yeah. What started out with this one super clear goal, take back Jerusalem, soon began to morph. The definition of crusading got stretched and reshaped to fit all sorts of new political and religious goals. You can really see this evolution happen in 3 big phases. First, you have the initial conquest. It's all about Jerusalem and setting up these new crusader states. Then, pretty quickly, the mission shifts to defending those new territories, which were super vulnerable. But then, in this really crucial twist, the whole concept gets turned inward. Suddenly, crusades are being called against heretics and political enemies inside of Europe. And just to put this all into perspective, 200 years. Let that sink in. We're talking about maybe 8 generations of people who lived in a world where this massive religious war was a near constant reality. It shaped everything. All of this conflict had a huge boomerang effect. The Crusades didn't just change the Holy Land, they completely and fundamentally reshaped the very European society that started them in the first place. And the impact on Europe itself was a story of total opposites. On the one hand, you have new trade routes opening up, bringing in incredible wealth and all these new goods. On the other hand, you have disasters like the sacking of Constantinople, a Christian city attacked by fellow Christians, and a hardening of religious divisions that left these deep, permanent scars. The long-term effects were just transformative. The Pope's power grew immensely because he could now raise armies from all over the continent and create new taxes to pay for them. The sheer logistics of it all led to huge innovations in finance and shipbuilding. But at the same time, this era made the split between the Catholic West and the Orthodox East so much worse. And yet, and this is the crazy part, amidst all the fighting, it also opened up this incredible exchange of knowledge in science and medicine from the Islamic world. It's a legacy that is just full of contradictions.
So why does any of this ancient history still matter today? Well, because the idea of the Crusades, the memory of them, it never really went away. You can still hear its echoes all around us in the modern world.
This metaphor of a ghost is just so perfect. The image of the crusader, this idea of a holy warrior, has been brought up again and again in modern politics, usually to justify new fights by framing them as just the next chapter in some ancient struggle. It's an incredibly powerful symbol, and frankly, a pretty dangerous one.
And this brings us right up to today. I mean, think about it. We still use the word crusade all the time to describe any really passionate moral campaign, right? A crusade against poverty or a crusade for justice. The word itself still carries that echo of the original religious fire.
So we'll end on this question. The Crusades were a crucible, a period of intense, white-hot pressure that forged brand-new connections, while also creating these deep, deep fractures. And realizing how those events from so long ago are still quietly shaping how different cultures relate to each other, well, that's absolutely essential to understanding the world we live in right now.